Europe is building something massive in the shadows, and I'm not talking about another bureaucratic office with leather chairs and expense accounts. I'm talking about a centralized intelligence apparatus that would make Cold War strategists jealous. The European Commission just proposed creating a new intelligence division that would pool data from every single EU member state under one roof. Think about that for a second. Every phone call, every border crossing, every digital footprint from Lisbon to Warsaw, all flowing into one central command. This isn't cooperation, this is consolidation of power on a scale Europe hasn't seen in decades. I spent years inside a major media organization, watched editors kill stories that didn't fit the approved narrative, saw truth get bent into convenient shapes. I walked away because I couldn't stomach it anymore. Now I work for myself, answer to no one, and tell you what's actually happening while everyone else is reading from the same script. If this video makes you think, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want someone who won't sugarcoat the news. And if you believe independent journalism matters, if you think someone should be out here connecting these dots without a corporate leash, consider becoming a channel sponsor. It's what keeps this operation running, keeps me digging, keeps the truth coming your way. So why now? Why is the EU suddenly desperate to merge intelligence operations that have been separate for 70 years? Here's what they're not saying out loud. The old system of information sharing has completely collapsed. Trust between member states is at an all-time low. France doesn't trust Germany. Germany doesn't trust Poland. And everyone's looking at Hungary like it's already compromised. The solution? Centralize everything. If this goes through, it'll be the biggest intelligence merger in European Union history. But here's the question nobody wants to answer. What happens when this data gets leaked? Because it will. It always does. And when it does, we're talking about sensitive information on hundreds of millions of European citizens in the wrong hands. This is the same Europe that lectures the world about privacy rights and individual freedom, the same Europe that fined tech companies billions for data violations. Now they want to create the mother of all databases, and they're selling it as security. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Liberal values, transparency, personal liberty, all those beautiful words they love to throw around at press conferences, now taking a back seat to total control. And if you think this is just about catching bad guys, you haven't been paying attention to how governments operate when nobody's watching. Let me paint you a picture of modern European humanitarianism in action. Germany, that beacon of tolerance and open arms, just came up with a brilliant cost-saving measure. Afghan refugees who made it to Pakistan after everything fell apart. Germany's offering them a deal, a few €1,000 to stay exactly where they are, cash for not coming. It's literally pay to stay away money. This is what European compassion looks like in 2025, when the cameras are off and the budgets are tight. Forget rescue operations, forget asylum processing. Just wire some money and hope the problem solves itself. Drop a comment below if you're seeing the same pattern I am. This is important. But wait, there's more from Germany. The same government just defended banning Russian students from studying IT and tech subjects at German universities, and they're refusing to call it discrimination. Let me say that again. They're blocking an entire nationality from education based solely on their passport. And the official position is that this doesn't count as discrimination. This is selective tolerance at its finest. The same people who preach inclusion and diversity are now sorting students by national origin and saying it's perfectly acceptable. The double standard is breathtaking. Germany loves to position itself as the moral center of Europe, but these moves tell a very different story. Meanwhile, over in France, we just witnessed a masterclass in how elite justice actually works. Former President Nicolas Sarkozy walked out of prison after exactly 20 days. 20 days. The man was convicted, sentenced, locked up, and then mysteriously freed less than 3 weeks later. French justice worked its magic, and Sarkozy's back home. This is the system that's supposed to hold powerful people accountable. This is what equal treatment under the law looks like. The cynics were right all along. When you're connected at the top, the rules bend. When you're not, they break you. And this isn't just about one man or one sentence. This is about trust in the entire system. Every time an elite walks, while regular citizens sit in cells for years over minor offenses, the social contract tears a little more. People stop believing in fair courts, they stop believing in honest governance, and they start believing that everything is rigged. And you know what? They're not wrong. Sarkozy's 20-day vacation in custody is proof that Europe's justice system has two tiers. One for the powerful, one for everyone else. Let's cross the channel. The BBC, that institution of British journalism, just lost several managers in a resignation wave. The reason? a scandal over how they handled Donald Trump's speech. Reports claim they misrepresented or altered what he actually said. Now, I'm no fan of Trump, let's be clear about that. But facts are facts, and when major news organizations start playing fast and loose with someone's actual words, that's a problem. It doesn't matter if you love the guy or hate him. When you manipulate quotes, you're not doing journalism, you're doing propaganda. Hit that subscribe button if you appreciate this kind of straight talk. We're going deeper. This is bigger than Trump. This is about credibility. Trust in media is already at historic lows, and stunts like this just dig the hole deeper. European outlets positioning themselves as moral authorities on truth while they're editing speeches to fit their narrative. That's not reporting. That's activism with a press badge. And the worst part is, they act shocked when people stop believing them. You can't build trust on manipulation, and you can't lecture about democracy while you're rewriting reality to match your bias. But here's where it gets really interesting and really hypocritical. British officials just got caught buying a Russian aircraft for £36.3 million. Yes, you read that right. The same Britain that's been at the front of the sanctions push, the same Britain that's been loudest about isolating Russia economically, just dropped over £36 million on Russian aviation equipment, and when confronted, they refused to call it a sanctions violation. They just didn't, as if ignoring reality makes it go away. This is European foreign policy in action. Loud moral declarations in public, quiet business deals in private. They'll sanction Russian oligarchs, freeze Russian assets, ban Russian imports. But when there's a good deal on a plane, suddenly the rules get very flexible. This is what I mean when I say watch what they do, not what they say. The headlines scream about standing up to Moscow, but the receipts tell a different story. Real interest Trump ideology every single time, and nobody wants to admit it. So here's where we are. The continent that built its reputation on human rights, on transparent institutions, on rule of law, is now drowning in its own contradictions. They're building surveillance systems that would make authoritarian states jealous. They're paying refugees to stay away instead of helping them. They're banning students by nationality while preaching tolerance. They're letting former presidents walk out of prison in weeks. They're editing political speeches while claiming to defend truth. They're buying Russian equipment while sanctioning Russia. If you've stuck with me this far, leave a like. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and seriously consider sponsoring this channel, because this is the kind of reporting that doesn't happen when you're dependent on corporate money or government approval. Every single one of these stories reveals the same pattern. The gap between what Europe claims to stand for and what it actually does is widening by the day. Democracy, justice, human rights, freedom of information, all those beautiful concepts that look so good on paper, are crumbling under the weight of political expediency, economic pressure, and raw power dynamics. And the people in charge are hoping you won't notice, or won't care, or won't connect the dots. But we are connecting them, and the picture that emerges is uncomfortable. Western democracy isn't evolving. It's having a nervous breakdown in real time. The institutions are failing, the double standards are glaring, and the hypocrisy is louder than any press conference or official statement. If anyone deserves an award for pure theatrical irony, it's the European establishment itself, because the gap between their words and their actions has never been wider. The facts speak for themselves. Governments that promised openness are building secret surveillance networks. Leaders who championed refugees are now paying them to disappear. Nations that preached equality are discriminating based on passports. Justice systems that claimed fairness are releasing the powerful while punishing the weak. Media organizations that promised truth are editing reality, and countries that demanded sanctions are cutting deals when it suits them. So here's the summary of what we've covered. The EU is pushing for centralized intelligence that threatens the privacy they claim to protect. Germany is paying Afghan refugees to stay away and banning Russian students from education while denying its discrimination. France let Sarkozy walk after 20 days in prison, proving elite justice is different. The BBC lost managers over manipulating Trump's speech, destroying media credibility further, and Britain bought Russian aircraft for over £36 million while claiming to enforce sanctions. Every story shows the same thing. Europe's actions contradict its values. If this analysis hit home, if it made you think differently about what you're seeing in the news, give this video a like right now. Subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to keep digging, keep connecting, keep showing you what's really happening behind the polished statements and PR campaigns. And if you want to support truly independent journalism, the kind that doesn't dance around uncomfortable truths, become a channel sponsor. That's what makes this possible. That's what keeps me free to tell you the full story without anyone pulling the strings. The truth is sharper than any headline, and reality is more revealing than any official narrative. Stay informed, stay critical, and I'll see you in the next one.